Well, certainly, in league play, every game's for us has come down to, it feels like one possession, maybe two. Um, That's just how this league is. So to have a night that you're able to push out a lead in the second half, I think that was good to see. I hope we have a lot. Actually, I believe we'll have a lot more nights like that at Cincinnati in the future. But I was pleased mainly for our guys. They've had some brutal nights over the last 8-9 weeks. Some really tough nights where there's games that we just felt like we could have won, should have won. We're right there to win. So for them to have a night to be able to feel good down the stretch and to honor our seniors, all of them, the right way, they deserve to have a night to feel like that. So I'm really pleased for our guys and pleased for our fans. So anyway, yeah, obviously with that kind of a lopsided victory down in the second half, you're pleased with that as a coach. But West Virginia's that's one of the most gifted teams in the country. They've been through a ton this year, and you look up and they're in every dang game. They've beat some really good teams. They've lost some one-possession games themselves, and we might be facing them again here in a couple days. So they'll be a heck of a lot better when we see them on a neutral floor in Kansas City. So we got to regroup and figure out who we're playing, where we're playing. I think we're going to play Tuesday against them from what I just looked at before I walked out here. So we got to regroup and get ready to play a team that's already beat us this year and has been able to play with anybody when they're playing well.
John, describe the feeling of walking out, getting your jersey, hugging coach, your family's here, surrounded by Bearcat royalty, and you win in a blowout.
It's great. Like, I'm not even sure if I have the words to describe it, man. Just love everywhere, man, and so much love. Like, I think my vocabulary is pretty extensive, but I don't even have the words to describe how it felt, man. It was just pure joy. Man, to like not feel like the mission's not done, but to feel like I came here to the school for a reason, following Coach West, and I feel like I wanted to leave a legacy here, and I could feel like the love here. So it was just a special moment for me, and also it was a joy for me to see all my brothers celebrated as well. From me, Odie, Chase, Landon, all the way to the managers. Because we all been in this fight together, so it was good to see.
Coach, obviously you had a tough, disappointing loss to West Virginia earlier in the year. How much of this effort and this game was kind of looking back on that and wanting to kind of return the favor to the Mountaineers?
I don't know if we thought about it in a personal way, but it used to be in conferences you played everybody round robin, right? Now with these massive major conferences, you're losing that a little bit, but you still get it a couple nights a year. And so when you play a team the second time on your home floor, it's important that you make adjustments and play a little better. And I thought our guys did a nice job of focusing in on that tonight.
Coach Jesse Edwards had 25-10 the first game you guys played them, just 8 points, 4 rebounds today. Having more time to prep for him, because I know it was still up in the air if he was even going to play in the first game, did that kind of help with your scouting and being a collective effort?
I think two things. One, I think you always you give credit to the guys that went out there and made the plays on him, and I thought our team did a nice job of defending him tonight. He's coming off of a 37-point game. So, he's a terrific player, and Aziz and Jamil did a nice job in the individual matchup, but our guys did a nice job of trying to make things difficult to get him the ball, like the other guys, the rest of the other 4 guys on the floor. Again, if we're going to face them again, I want to be cautious here. Some of it wasn't his best game too. He's a terrific player. He's probably, how you slice it, one of the best bigs in all of college basketball. I think he's shown that here over the last month or so. And, so it probably was a combination, but I was pleased with our guys' attention to detail on how we were going to defend him and the job they did collectively.
Coach, from your experience, when it gets to conference tournament time, how do you change your management in between games, knowing that you could be playing on consecutive days? What's the management like of the players in between games when you only have one day?
How do you change preparing for the tournament, or while you're in the tournament?
While you're in the tournament, how do you manage in between games, like rest, nutrition, and all that stuff?
Honestly, I've been fortunate to participate in tons of tournaments over the last 20 years as a player and a coach, and I don't even think about it as multiple days. I think about it as a one-game tournament. They don't let you go to a second day if you don't take care of business on the first. So I've always thought about conference tournaments as a one-game tournament. So we'll try to do everything we can to get ready to play. Again, if it's going to be Tuesday, I think Kansas State, Iowa State, the outcome of that was going to determine whether we played on Tuesday or Wednesday. But if it's going to be Tuesday, we'll get ready to play Tuesday and do everything we can to play that one game. And if they let us stick around on Wednesday, we'll figure it out from that standpoint. But we think about it as a one-game tournament.
Dan, you guys outscoring 48-14 in the paint. What do you think was working so well in the front court to be able to get those shots to fall consistently today, where they hadn't been falling as consistently around the rim recently?
Just playing as a team and moving the ball and trusting each other on what we work on every day, and Phoenix coming down and making the first easy play and getting in the paint, getting on two, either finding an angle to finish or kick it back out, and just really trusting what we work on every day instead of leaving out from that and doing other things.
Wes, you get a 10-for-10 performance from your two bigs, and Jamil Reynolds and Aziz Bandego, two main bigs today. How impactful was that, and is that kind of the trend you've been looking for from these guys over the past week or so?
Yeah, they were both really good. And I thought in the first half, Aziz was awesome. Like, with just defensively, I thought some of the offensive rebounds, and some of them weren't rebounds he got, but he drew a foul on the offensive board, so we got the possession again. I thought he was really, really good. And then I thought Jamil's, and Aziz was really good in all of his minutes, and I thought Jamil's segment in the second half was impactful. We did a nice job executing a couple plays against the zone that got Jamil some easy baskets. It was good to kind of see him get going. Aziz probably wishes he was out there for that. He'd have got him too, but it was good to see those guys see the ball go in, because we need both of them to be effective on both ends, and they both had moments tonight they weren't.
Coach, I know you're probably not ready to self-reflect on this season yet, but from game one to the end of this game, how much have you seen your team grow and come together?
Oh man, ton. I'm not going to do, like, you guys know this. We'll do a lot of reflection when the season's over. We got basketball left to play. It's March, but this group, I mean this, like, genuinely. This group has been an absolute joy, not just to coach, but to be around every day. We have no egos. We have no attitudes in the locker room. They all get along with each other. There ain't a lot of college basketball teams that you could honestly say that about. I mean, that's fact. They work their asses off every day. They're coachable. They want to win. They care about the program. They care about the community and the school. This team's been a joy. Now, there's been some hard nights, because we've been right there, man. I think 9 one-possession game losses or something like that. That part's been hard, but dealing with them and coaching them, it's been an absolute joy, and I'm thankful for it, and I think they all deserve credit for it. But guys like John and Odie that have been here for 3 years and are the old elder statesmen, they deserve a ton of credit, because they've set a tone, because they've been here as long as they have. And I'll say it, John Newman, the way he plays the game, how could you not relate to that if you're a fan of Cincinnati basketball? And everybody gets to see that every night. But Odie Oguama, accepting the role that he's had to play when Aziz and Jamil got eligible, man, it is as important to the dynamic on this team as anything I've ever seen a player accept or sacrifice in my 13 years as a head coach. And I will never forget it to the day I die. I'm not going to get emotional. I told myself I'm not doing that in the media today, but I start thinking about these guys, and so John Newman, Odie Oguama, I love them, and I'll love them forever, and I ain't going to do that. So, yeah, it meant a lot.
Dan, you just witnessed a pretty cool senior day. Is that something you might want to do in a couple of years?
Yeah, for sure. It was an amazing night for them too. John Newman and Chase and Landon and Odie, man. It was fun going out there and competing for them, and I don't know what
I don't know.
future
I want to say this, man. I want Dan Skillings to be drafted before his damn senior.
That's what I was trying to say. But I'm trying to humbly, but I don't know what my future holds. I'm gonna keep working.
There was a little reason behind that question.
I mean that. his goal's got to be bigger than getting to senior night. You know, and everybody knows that's around us knows what I think of Dan Skillings, and I thought he was terrific tonight. I thought he played one of his best games as a Bearcat at Oklahoma earlier this week, other than a couple silly fouls and some missed shots, which that's the stuff everybody sees. But everything else, it was probably his best game as a Bearcat, and I thought he followed up and was terrific again tonight. And if you ask me, would you want to see Dan Skillings on senior night? I'd like to have the same emotions I have right now about John Newman and Odi Oguama and at the NBA draft, watching Dan Skillings get drafted. Like I think he's capable of that. So we ain't gonna put senior night in his head. Let's talk about him getting better every day so we hear his name called.
Dan, you've kind of seen it firsthand playing with Day-Day and Jizzle. How have you kind of seen them continue to develop and leading the offense? And was there a part of you that was surprised when Day-Day was calling for the lob coming down the floor in transition?
Yeah, man. Love playing with Jizzle and Day-Day, man. They really see the floor, and they really know how to make the right play, and really know how to play aggressive too. So teams really don't know what to get from them, like aggressive or make a play, go score, or make other plays, get in the paint and kicking out and just getting assists and things like that, and just creating for others. But the lob, that was fun. When I first caught it, my mind automatically thought give it to him and he was gonna give it back. But I went all the way, and he just telling me to call it up, and I was like, I'm doing it. I just threw it up, and it was lit. It was tough.
The coach just likes 2 points, so it went in. So
Nah,
I'm
it was
fine.
fun. That was fun, man. That was an amazing time right there. Ain't gonna lie.
Wes, what's the biggest difference in having to face a team immediately the next game going into a conference tournament?
Is
It's
it
like-
official now? Like,
Yeah, Iowa State lost.
State one.
But does that mean that it definitely is West Virginia?
Yeah,
West Virginia too.
they go to 14, you're 11.
Yeah, okay, so, guys, I don't know. I don't know if I have an experience of playing a team and then 3 days later playing them again in a conference tournament. And I hadn't had time to process all that because, I came straight to see you guys after I'd met with the team. So we'll come up with a plan, we'll prepare. When we do it, we always do. And we have a ton of respect for West Virginia. And they beat us already this year, so it's not as if just because we had it got away from them against us tonight that we think we've arrived or something. We understand how good we're going to have to play on a neutral floor in the conference tournament.
A lot of these games have been tense. Do you feel like they've prepared you for the intensity of a one-game conference tournament starting next week?
Yeah, I just think this league prepares you to play in March. I think every coach in our league would say that. I mean, come on, these games, and it makes players better. It makes coaches better, and I think this league deserves to have a ridiculous amount of teams in the tournament, and I think playing through this gauntlet only does good things to your growth as a team, and as a player, and as a coach.
Coach Kmart sitting on the sidelines today, Coach Huggins up in the stands. How impactful is that for your program, having 2 legends like that in the building?
Guy's awesome. I mean, just awesome. And Kenyon was at practice yesterday, got to speak to the team a little bit. And he was here last year and got a chance to speak to the team. And I mean, the former player support since we've been here has been so impactful. It's meant a lot to us. There's so much history here, and there's so much tradition, and the guys that played here care so much about the program. So to have any of them back, I mean, DeMar I was upset we didn't recognize him. I thought we should have recognized him when they called out the assistant coaches from the other team. They called his name out, but we should have recognized that we had a former Bearcat back. So that pissed me off a little bit, if you want to be frank. And I thought we were going to, so we'll deal with that. But, to have our former players around our program, to have them involved in our program, it means so much to us. And we care about it. It makes us better. And then, you got Oscar Robertson, right, and Jack Twyman and Kenyon Martin. I mean, he's not just a legend here. He's a legend in the game of basketball. He's National Player of the Year, #1 draft choice. Played in a couple NBA finals. I remember watching him as a kid. I mean, and he was an iconic person in our game, with the way he played. So, yeah, all of the guys that are back all the time means a lot, but to have somebody at his stature, yeah, it's really special for all of us, special for our players.
Your thoughts on Coach Huggins being here
Yeah, and I
and
should have said that.
wearing red?
Should have said that too, Yeah, like again, I've said this forever. I wanted to coach at Cincinnati. because Bob Huggins and Mick Cronin coached here, and the players that played for them. I watched that in my lifetime. It made me want to coach here. I look up to those guys. And so to have Coach Huggins back here, I did not know he wore red. I love to hear that. Okay, I love to hear that. But to have him back in the building, that's special for us. So, you know, I love the history of our program. I love celebrating those guys. And come on, Bob Huggins, a Hall of Famer that coached here. Again, we talk about gigantic people in our sport. He's one of them. And so, again, I hope we honored him the right way. I don't know if we did. We should have.
Thank you.